Mumbai, a cosmopolitan metropolis earlier known as Bombay, is the largest city in India and the capital of Maharashtra state. Mumbai was originally a conglomeration of seven islands on the Konkan coastline, which over time were joined to form the island city of Bombay. The island was in turn joined with the neighboring islands of Salsette to form Greater Bombay. Mumbai is undoubtedly the commercial capital of India and is one of the predominant port cities in the country. Mumbai's nature has the most electric and cosmopolitan Indian city is symbolized in the presence of Bollywood within the city, the center of the globally influential Hindi film and TV industries. It is also home to India's largest population. In this beauty of Mumbai lies Malabar Hills. Malabar Hill is an escape residential area known for the Hanging Gardens, a hillside park with sea views and hedges sculpted into animal shapes. At the Volkeshwar temple complex, Ban Ganga tank is a sacred pool with 12th century origin. Other sites include the ancient Babulnath Mandir temple reached by climbing over 100 steps, and Babu Amichand Pannalal Jain temple embellished with intricate carvings. The first person to give this place the name Malabar Point was John Fryer, a British surgeon, who came to Mumbai in the 1670s. However, there are two interesting stories regarding where the name Malabar came from. The first one was a family of traders and merchants from the North Malabar coast from Kerala named Kia, who owned a large part of this area. They would start Mumbai trades with the Portuguese, French and English. This family transferred a large part of this area to the East India Company. Hence the name Malabar came from where these people moved from, which is North Malabar. Another story of where the name Malabar came from is that this area was known to be attacked by pirates from the Malabar coast. Since the attacks were so common and frequent, the name Malabar from the Malabar coast stuck to that region of Bombay. And this is the second story on why this area is known as Malabar. The main reason why Malabar Hill is a place of importance is because of the fact that for years, important and elite families have resided in this area. In the 1830s, it was said that the Duke of Wellington resided in Malabar Hills whenever he came to Mumbai, and that he was considering occupying the area for offices for the English. It is important to note that the shift of elites to Malabar Hills occurred after the tearing down of the Bombay fort. The turning point of Malabar Hills was in the mid-1880s, when the governor of Bombay shifted into their official residence in Malabar Hills. The governor earlier used to reside in Powai, but felt that a shift was of dire urgency, since there was a rise in cases of cholera from which his wife passed away. Also due to the rise of slums in the area of Powai, also the shift of Malabar Hills was made due to the political strategies. He also thought that he would be provided with isolation if he stayed in Malabar Hills. The governor's bungalow, now called the Raj Bhavan, and the surrounding houses of the elite are interlinked. After the governor shifted there, the other elite and high-ranking people thought it fit to move to Malabar Hills as well, due to the fact that it seemed fit as a place for people with authority and influence. And due to this, Malabar Hills is known today to be the place which resides the top elite and rich. Tower of Silence. The Tower of Silence in Mumbai was established in 1672 by Seth Moti Hirji. Moti Hirji was a healthy and wealthy Parsi businessman who was responsible for building the first Tower of Silence in Mumbai. He also built the first temple of fire in Mumbai, but the temple was destroyed in the Great Fire of 1803. The Towers of Silence remains in use as sacred location for the Parsi community, though non-members may not enter them. In Mumbai, visitors are shown a model of tower. Organized tours can be taken on this site. The city of Mumbai has always been home to a large population of Parsis. The tower is where the Parsi community performs the last rites for the departed. It is Dhakma, which is known as Tower of Silence. It is a circular raised structure by Zoroastrians for incarnation, that is, exposure of human corpses to the elements for decomposition in order to avert contamination of the soil and other natural elements by the dead bodies. Skeletal remains are gathered into a central pit where further weathering and continued breakdown occurs. The prophet Zarathustra insisted on a reverence for all elements. None of them is to be defiled. A corpse is considered impure not just physically on account of infection and decay, but also because it is swiftly colonized by evil spirits. Therefore, cremation and burial of land or sea are unacceptable. However, in places where no dakmas were possible, Delhi and the diaspora, for example, the dead are interred in community plots in Christian cemeteries. Keeping aside the macabre imagery, the system of exposure known as dokmashini is swift, ecologically sound. It's also softened by mythology. The soul's cosmic transmitted is aided by the vulture's mystic eye, and the feeding of one's death body to the birds is considered the deviant Zoroastrian's final act of charity. Dokmenashini originated in ancient Christian cemeteries. Keeping aside the macabre imagery, this system of exposure known as dokmashini is swift and ecologically sound. Dokmashini originated in ancient Parsia, the homeland which the Parsis felled Kirka 900 AD to protect their ancient faith from an emerging Islam. The practice survived in pockets such as Yazd, but Iran's Dakhmans were declared a health hazard and illegal in the 1970s because urbanization had marched upon these once desolated sky burial sites. Mumbai's Dungarwadi broods on despite its luxe location, but the towers are now far from silent. However, the very unique and sacred aspect of this cemetery is vanishing. The vulture community in Mumbai is decreasing due to new chemicals, and this threatens the very foundation of the burial ceremony of the Parsi community. So much so that the Parsi community has taken to action to try to prevent the vulture community from completely disappearing. Due to the vulture community declining, the burial process of the Parsi community has been compromised. This disrupted the decomposition process of the Dungarwadi's dogma platforms. In order to continue the decomposition of the bodies while maintaining the integrity of the ancient ritual, the tower keepers have used solar panels using heat and light to slowly decompose the human bodies instead of vultures. However, this method was not as effective as that of the vultures. Hence, multiple funerals were disrupted. The disappearance of vultures in Mumbai may lead to slow disappearance of the human ritual practices of Zoroastrians. Parsi community's reaction. The Parsi community was deeply affected by this, as well as outside Mumbai's Parsi community. This reaction brought up the news of the decrease of vultures as well as extraordinary forest. In order for the forest and the Tower of Silence to not lose its legitimacy, the stepwards of the tower thoughts of new ways to showcase the forest's broader function, value, and history that the first represents. They brought up the points: first, rare habitat of biodiversity; second, the Dungarwadi absorbs excess carbon dioxide; third, helps mitigate pollution and noise; fourth, provides with a permeable surface that absorbs rainwater. The tower's stewards wanted to show that the forest had multiple different purposes and how it is very much sacred and ecological, and that is should remain standing even though the primary purpose is no longer carried out. Future Dungarwadi, the future remains uncertain. However, there was much to be learned from the forest's history and how death and life in 21st century nature are mutually experienced and co-produced. The Hanging Gardens. Littlewood Pulunji Corporation was one of the companies that helped build a large reservoir to distribute water to the city of Mumbai. It was constructed at the highest point of Malabar Hills. With this eye-pampering view, we having Hanging Gardens. With a history of over 138 years, it stands as a popular spot where Mumbaikars come to spend a few moments in the cradle of nature away from the hustle and bustle of the overbuzzing city. The park offers outstanding sunset views of Arabian Sea, making it a favorite evening hangout for travelers. Hanging Gardens in Mumbai is built on top of Malabar Hill, as the garden is a terrace garden located on a hilltop. It affords a gorgeous view of sunset. With this comes the mystery of Mumbai. Why is it called Hanging Gardens? This hanging garden was built over a water reservoir in 1881. This water reservoir was important because it was the largest water supply for South Bombay, and the garden was built upon it by the British in order to reduce pollution in the water, since the entire South Bombay depended on its water for daily use. Second, it is also known as Feroz Shah Mehta Gardens, named after Sir Feroz Shah Marvanji Mehta, who was a well-known Parsi leader. He is also fondly known as the Lion of the City, thanks to his numerous contributions to the city. Future of Malabar Hills and Tower of Silence. Malabar Hills will continue to shine in the coming years as the city of Mumbai continues to grow higher and higher in price and reputation as well. Malabar Hills will remain its rich and elite reputation in the eyes of Mumbaikars. However, the same cannot be said for the Tower of Silence, as its original purpose has slowly been degrading due to the environmental and biological issues. Research shows that the vulture population in South India and Mumbai will most likely not increase in the coming years, leaving the Tower of Silence struggling to find ways to naturally decompose and proceed with their burial ritual. Hanging Gardens, on the bright side, will continue to remain a popular tourist spot. However, local Mumbaikars may not visit the park frequently. It will continue to remain an iconic location in Mumbai, and nothing in the coming years can change that fact. And with that, this was the history and chronicles of Malabar Hills and its iconic and famous places. Thank you.